Using HTML and CSS, we are preparing a page similar to a gallery page that grows animatedly when we hover over images. In this effect called image hover effect or image cart hover effect, when hovering over an image in div, the image grows and leaves a nice effect on the user. Let's get started. First, let's create a new page and enter the basic HTML tags here and define a container class in div, because we will use this container class to reference subclasses later. Then let's create 4 divs that belongs to the box class. When I save them, nothing will appear on the page because we haven't defined any style. So let's create a style between the head tags. You can also create a style.css file and call it here with the link tag. First, let's assign a background to the body tag. You can give it another color here. You can give it a gray color, but I will give it white now. Let's define a width in the container class. Let the contents of the container be centered with margin 0 auto. I gave a padding of 80 pixels from above and below so that what we are about to do will not stick on the page. When I look at it right now, there will be no change on the page again. I'm defining a box style. Now we have reached this point with this box style. What we do next will affect this box. I give width and height values to each box. So we have given 150 pixels height and 150 pixels width to 4 boxes. And these are here now. But they are not obvious because we haven't defined any color. Let's set each div included in the box class to have one background. As you can see, there are 4 divs here. Now we will detail these divs. These divs are currently one below the other. By default, they are bottom to bottom. If we want to make them side by side, we need to use the flex feature of CSS. I'm using flex, aligning the top to the far left and centering them. Therefore, I get such a result. I need to give space to each of these boxes so that they look like they are separate. So I'm going to give each of them a margin, a 14 pixels wide margin on the left and right. The work we are doing now, when you hover over the boxes, when the mouse hovers, the boxes will grow. So how many seconds will this growth take? We know that again to the box. To do this, we defined transition to be 0.5 seconds. And what will happen when it hovers over the boxes? That is, when the box hovers, we also need to specify this. We specify this with transform scale. When I save and look at it right now, we are applying a movement that will be completed in 0.5 seconds as we specified here. If this was 1.0, it wouldn't grow and would remain as it is. If it is 1.2, it means it's growing at that rate. After it grows, we gave black to the background so that it has a black background. Of course, when we give them an image, this background will have no meaning when we put an image. Actually, we have done what we want to do right now. When we hover over the boxes here, when we hover over the boxes with the mouse, the boxes grow at the rate we set. Now let's see how we can add images to them. I'm using Pixum for the image, just like Lorem Ipsum works as a text filler. In the same way, Pixum works as a visual field filler. I've added 4 images here. I've added various images inside the div tag with each box class. I'm saving this and looking at it. The size of the images here is like this because they are 150 pixels wide. To see how these images are used, you can access the relevant site by searching the Pixum to see how they are placed here. Each photo has its own ID on the site. You can change the photo by entering the ID here, and we determine how many pixels wide it is from here. Each of these images is 150 pixels wide. So 150 here is 150 pixels height and 150 pixels wide. If I had put another slash and written a separate number there, I would have given the width and height values separately. When I save it this way and hover over the images with the mouse, the image that the mouse cursor hovers over grows. We can make these images look better by adding border radius to the corners. You can change how many seconds you want the action to complete when hovering over the shadows or how much you want it to grow when it grows. For example, if we set it to 1 second, it will complete its movement much more slowly. For example, when we set the scale value here to 1.5, the shows will grow 1.5 times larger. You can edit this according to your own design, according to your own website. I did 1.1. As you can see, there is less sizing. 1.3 is the ideal number here so that they don't overlap each other. And let's specify how many seconds again. If we make it 2 seconds, we will get a much slower result. If we make it 0.1, we will get a much faster result. But I think it might be around half a second, because it doesn't look so fast. It doesn't look very aesthetic. 1.2 looks more aesthetic than 1.3 right now. Yes, in this tutorial, I showed how we can adjust the growth rates and growth time of the divs we created. And we can also give images if we want when we hover over these images with the mouse. I hope it was useful. If today's video was useful to you, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. Just click the subscribe button below this video. Thank you for watching.